Okay, so hello, uh, anyone who's watching, like Miss Cloney, for example. Um, this is my second video on my update about my project, my Minecraft project. Um, I created a small little cave here. We're going to get back to what's in here later, but this is the next update which I'm having for this project, and these are basically just blueprints. Obviously, I'm not going to be using this color to build what I want to build, but these are just blueprints of what this is going to look like. Um, right now, the scale seems to be a lot bigger than even I imagined. I imagined this to just take maybe half of this area, but now when I went through it, it's gonna take up this whole area. You can see there are a lot of circles on the, you know, on the on these blueprints. These are all going to be towers. There are all different sized circles, and these are all going to be towers that are going to be, pretty high, and they're the original idea was going to be a monument, but now it's kind of changing to somewhat more of an, I guess you could say, aggressive manner, because this doesn't really look as much of a monument, but if you think about it, it also, if you think about how these towers are going to be built, probably as high as I'm standing right now. Maybe these bigger ones might be even more taller, but we can see how it's become very different from what we've thought it might be. But this is not a bad thing. This might be a good thing, which I am pretty happy about my how my design might turn out. So first we'll start with our entrance. Like I said in my last video, I'm going to start my entrance from here. And it's going to be a nice broad staircase, maybe I'll make it even more broader. I'm not sure yet, probably not, but we'll see what happens. After all, these are just blueprints, we can make changes to them. And the staircase is going to come into here, turn, and go into our grand entrance. We're going to have two little towers here, kind of like outlook towers. And then one nice large little tower here to look over this lay of the land. Um, yeah, and then these two areas. In my previous video, I lightly mentioned this curve that we see in the mountain itself on the land, and this curve allows us to make this circular tower fit in pretty well with the surrounding, as well as this thing. It's and some of it is even like coming off of here. This, I think, is going to have a pretty interesting design, because it's going to be something that was kind of built out from the mountain to the sky. So I guess you could say it kind of feels like when you put a stick in sand, you kind of dig it right into there. Same way, we're gonna dig this tower right into the heart of this little mountain here, and I think this might be a very good idea. So I can imagine how this might look like, and I like the design of it. So yeah, we have a couple more towers here, and I also thought of taking advantage of this. At first, I didn't like the design of this little extra piece, with this little uh, concave, or no, yeah, concave looking area that's been dug right into the mountain. But then I took advantage of this opportunity to make a secondary entrance into here. It's slightly smaller. The stairs are slightly smaller, but it still goes in as an entrance to the main piece. Now, at first, this is going to be a monument, but if you think about all these towers and everything, it kind of feels more like a fort, or like an empire kind of thing, which is understandable because it does have a very aggressive look. But um, in a way, it kind of is still a monument, because if you think about it, when we see these old structures, obviously this is going to be old, right? So it's going to have a lot of vines, a lot of weeds, a lot of, back in times like during maybe Greece or Rome or something, this would have been a huge architectural, feat, a huge architectural, amazing, huge looking fort, which would have such a grand looking fort look. That's the best way I can describe it, but it is true. And when you go forward in time, eventually it erodes and erodes and erodes, and eventually you have all these vines and all this nature taking over it. And that's the same look I want to have now. And that look also gives it as if now it's like a monument for what used to be there. So, it still has the same idea, but uh not as much of an aggressive look as I thought. But that doesn't mean it's that bad. So yeah, but these are just the blueprints. These are going to be built, obviously not of this color, as I said before. But it's I'm liking the design so far. One thing I did say I'd get back to was this little cave with this little chest here. So this is going to be my palette. We can see we have a lot of blocks in here. The first I want to go over are these. This is cobblestone, mossy cobblestone, and andesite. Because these blocks have a look. These blocks look like basically rocks or minerals. And I want the base of all these towers, the the lower parts of these towers to all have that similar kind of base, because it kind of looks like rubble or like loose rocks kind of, and these loose rocks are all at the bottom, and then from the bottom we build something up to have a more sturdy structure. So the same way, I wanted to use the cobblestone and the andesite blocks. I can place these blocks down to show you how they might look like. Um, to have this kind of rocky base, and from this rocky base we will have a large structure which is nice and sturdy. And for that structure, I'm going to use, let me put these back. I want to use these stone bricks. These stone bricks and mossy stone bricks, and I'm also going to use cracked stone bricks. So these stone bricks have a nice, good structure when you look at it, but obviously this is going to be old. Nature is going to have taken over it, so it's going to develop cracks over time. It's going to develop moss over time. So I'm going to use a mix of all of these blocks to build this up as our structure. So yeah. I'm also going to use wood because we need a differentiation in color. These aren't all the blocks I'm going to use. I'm going to use more blocks, but these are the main parts of what we're going to do. And I added some wood here because most of this building is going to have a lot of shades of gray and green, but it doesn't have any vibrant colors or any something that might give it a good mix of a palette. So I'm deciding to use these two wood blocks here as as maybe roofs or other aesthetic things, which would also provide for a lot of structure. So I just wanted to go over that. And we have a couple more blocks. We have these spruce logs and some fences. So these logs, they look like tree logs, and these fences, which I wanted to go over, because we could also use these as like poles for, for holding something up, especially this. And these poles could hold up certain things and give certain things, uh, the kind of look that we want, like um, a roof over something, So, or the side of a roof extending out over the building, which would, these blocks would come in handy for things like that. So that is one thing. Another thing that just came to mind actually is stained glass. Different colors of stained glass, because let me search it up. Stained glass, like maybe red or blue. Maybe light blue might be a little better. But these stained glass would allow us to have, again, a differentiation in palette and color, because in ancient architectural buildings they have had a lot of color in them, a lot of colored glass, and a lot of art made with this colored glass, and so I thought this would be a good idea for windows. This is just a little other block I want to mention. Is this is in Minecraft, it's known as acacia wood. It's the same wood used in these trees here. I just thought that it would have a good look. Obviously, I'm not too big of the orange in that. I'm not too big of a fan of that. But the sides do have a kind of stonish look, and I thought it would go well with some of the gray blocks that, that we have in our building, so it would have some differentiation in textures. So anyways, this is just, this was just an overview of the palette, what blocks I'm going to use, and how I'm going to use them, as well as the blueprints that are shown in this world. But for now, that's pretty much it. That's all I have to say. Thanks for watching.